Hey everyone, welcome back. Today's lesson is all about which polar patterns you need to record classical and acoustic guitar. So let's get into it. But first, don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. It would really help support the channel. Knowing the polar pattern in your microphone and knowing how it responds to different situations can lead to you getting much better results in recordings and getting them faster. Likewise, using the wrong polar pattern for the wrong situation can actually ruin your recordings altogether. That being said, it's not nearly as hard as it sounds. The big three polar patterns that you'll come across are cardioid, omnidirectional, and a figure of eight. Cardioid pattern microphones pick up sound in a heart-shaped pattern in front of the microphone and completely reject sound from behind, meaning that if this is the front diaphragm of the microphone, it picks it up in a heart shape in front of it. An omnidirectional microphone picks up sound all the way around, so instead of that heart shape, it's just completely a circle. This picks up much more ambient noise than the cardioid pattern. And the figure eight pattern is almost just how it sounds. It picks up sound in front of the microphone, but it also picks up sound equally from the back, hence the figure eight pattern. In about 90% of recording situations, I would say record with a cardioid pattern microphone. And the reason I recommend cardioid pattern microphones is two reasons. One, the bass proximity effect that happens when you get closer to the microphone. So to demonstrate, my vocal mic is right down here. If I get closer to the microphone like that, you can hear the bass response increasing the closer I get to it, but the further away, it diminishes. And this can be great for recording classical guitar if you want a little bit more bass. Likewise, cardioid microphones reject sound from the rear. So if you're trying to isolate one guitar player from another, or if you're in a home studio and say you have like noisy air conditioning or somebody's outside like a garbage truck, which always seems to happen when I record, and you can kind of face the microphone towards the noise so that way it only picks up in front of it just your guitar playing and tries to reject all of the extra noise that comes from behind. I wouldn't normally recommend Omnis unless you have a ridiculous budget for microphones. Generally, cheaper Omnis have this really hyped top end, and they only work really well in great acoustic spaces. So if you're working in a home studio, even one that's well treated like this one, it still won't give you optimum results, and you're better off going with cardioid. Now, figure of eight microphones I generally only use if I'm doing a mid-side technique, which I'm going to be doing a video on soon, which basically requires two microphones, one that does a figure of eight pattern that you record the two sides with, and then a separate microphone that records the center channel. And this gets great results for that, but I would never really use a figure of eight microphone on its own, unless I was going for some kind of special effect. So now I'm going to demonstrate 5 polar patterns using the same microphone. The microphone I'm going to be using is a Lewitt Audio 441 Flex, and it has 8 polar patterns total, but I'm only going to be using 5. I'm going to play the same example 5 times, and I'm going to start with cardioid, which is the most common pattern that you'll have on most microphones. And then I'm going to go to a wider cardioid pattern that is just a little bit more expanded. And then I'm going to go back down to a super cardioid, which is really, really narrow. And then after that, I'm going to do my omnidirectional pattern, and then the figure of eight. So let's have a listen. Alright, that's my time. I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any questions, comments, or topics you want me to cover in future videos, please leave them in the comments down below. See you guys in the next video.